friends, welcome to the Point. Let's continue our discussion on Indian Parliament. So who are the leaders present in our Parliament? Leader of the House, Leader of the Opposition and Whip. Who is this Leader of the House? So under the rules of Lok Sabha, the Leader of the House means Prime Minister if he is a member of Lok Sabha, or a Minister who is a member of Lok Sabha, and he is nominated by the Prime Minister to function as the Leader of the House. And there is also a Leader of the House in Rajya Sabha, and he is a Minister and a member of Rajya Sabha, and he is nominated by the Prime Minister to function all his duties. The Leader of the House in Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha is an important functionary, and they exercise direct influence on conduct of business, and they can also nominate a deputy leader of the house, and the same functionary in USA is known as majority leader. Leader of opposition. In every house of the parliament there is a leader of opposition. The leader of the largest opposition party, having not less than 1/10 seats of the total strength of the house, is recognized as the leader of opposition in that house. In parliamentary system of government, the leader of opposition, they have a significant role to play. The opposition leader's main function is to provide a constructive criticism of the policies of the government and to provide an alternative government, and therefore the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, they were accorded a statutory recognition in the year 1977. And the opposition leaders' salary, allowances and other facilities, it is equal to the cabinet minister. Whip. Though the offices of the leader of the house and the leader of the opposition are mentioned in the Constitution of India, they are mentioned in the rules of the House of Parliamentary Statute respectively. And the office of the whip, it is neither mentioned in the Constitution of India, nor in the rules of the House, nor in a parliamentary statute, and it is based on the conventions of parliamentary government. And every political party, whether ruling party or opposition party, they has their own whip in the parliament, and this whip, he is appointed by the political party to serve as an assistant floor leader. And he is charged with the responsibility of ensuring the attendance of his party members. Whip regulates and monitors their behavior in the parliament, and the members, they are supposed to follow the directives that is given by the whip. Otherwise, disciplinary action can be taken. Sessions of the parliament. There are too many sessions. Let's discuss one by one. Summoning. The president, from time to time, he summons each house of the parliament to meet, but the maximum gap between the two sessions of the parliament, it cannot be more than 6 months. We can say that the parliament should meet at least twice in a year, and there are usually 3 sessions in a year, that is the budget session, that is from February to May, and the monsoon session from July to September, and the winter session from November to December. A session of the parliament, it is a period spanning between the first sitting of a house and its prorogation, and during a session, the house meets every day to transact its business, and the period spanning between the prorogation of a house and its reassembly in a new session is called a recess. Adjournment. A session of the parliament, it consists of many meetings, and each meeting of a day, it consists of 2 sittings, and that is morning sitting from 11 AM to 1 PM and post lunch sitting, that is from 2 PM to 6 PM. A sitting of the parliament, it can be terminated by the form of adjournment or adjournment sine die, or prorogation or dissolution. An adjournment, it suspends the work in a sitting for a specified time, which may be in hours or days or weeks. Adjournment sine die. Adjournment sine die means terminating a sitting of a parliament for an indefinite period. We can say that when the house is adjourned without naming a day for a reassembly, and that is called adjournment sine-die. And the power of the adjournment as well as adjournment sine-die, it lies with the presiding officer of the house. And that person, that is a presiding officer, he can also call a sitting of the house before the date or time to which it has been adjourned, or he can call at any time after the house has been adjourned sine-die. Prorogation. The presiding officers, they are speaker or chairman, they declare the house adjourned sine-die, and when the business of the session is completed, within the next few days, the president issues a notification for prorogation of the session, and the president can also prorogue the house while in the session. Dissolution. Rajya Sabha, being a permanent house, is not a subject to dissolution. Only the Lok Sabha is subject to dissolution. A dissolution ends the very life of the existing house, and a new house is constituted after the general elections are held. How does this dissolution in Lok Sabha takes place? And there are two ways for dissolution. One is automatic dissolution, that is, on the expiry of its tenure of 5 years or the term as it is extended during a national emergency, the Lok Sabha gets dissolved automatically. And in the second case, whenever the president decides to dissolve the house, and which he is authorized to do by the Prime Minister, and once the Lok Sabha is dissolved, before the completion of its normal tenure, the dissolution is irrevocable. Quorum. Quorum, it is the minimum number of members that is required to be present in the house before it can transact any business, and it is 1/10 of the total number of members in each house, including the presiding officers. They are speaker and the chairman. It means that there must be at least 55 members present in the Lok Sabha and 25 members present in the Rajya Sabha to conduct any business. And if there is quorum during a meeting of the house, it is the duty of the speaker or chairman either to adjourn the house or to suspend the meeting until there is a quorum. Voting in the house. All matters at any sitting of either house or the joint sitting of both the houses, it is decided by a majority of votes of the members present and voting, and this does not include the presiding officers. And only few matters which are specifically mentioned in the Constitution, like impeachment of the President, amendment of the Constitution, removal of the presiding officers of the Parliament, and so on, this requires a special majority. Language in the Parliament. The Constitution has declared Hindi and English to be the languages for transacting business in the Parliament. But still, the presiding officers can permit a member to address the House in his mother tongue. In both the houses, arrangements are made for simultaneous translations. Though English was to be discontinued as a floor language after the expiration of the 15 years from the commencement of the Constitution, that is in 1965, the Official Languages Act 1963, it allowed English to be continued along with the Hindi. Rights of minorities and Attorney General. In addition to the members of the House, every Minister and Attorney General of India, they have the right to speak and take part in the proceedings of either house, that is either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, and any joint sitting of the both houses and any committee of the Parliament of which he is a member without being entitled to vote. Lame duck session. It refers to the last session of the existing Lok Sabha after a new Lok Sabha has been elected, and those members of the existing Lok Sabha who could not get re-elected to the new Lok Sabha, they are called as lame ducks. Devices of parliamentary proceedings. Question hour. The first hour of every parliamentary sitting is slotted for question hour, and during this time the members can ask questions and the ministers usually give answers. And the questions are of three kinds. They are starred questions, unstarred questions, and a short notice. A start questions which is distinguished by an asterisk. It requires an oral answer and hence supplementary questions can follow. An unstart question, it requires a written answer and hence supplementary questions cannot be followed. A short notice question is one that is asked by giving a notice of less than 10 days and it is answered orally. Remember, the start question and the short notice, it is answered orally, and unstart question, it is unwritten answer. 0 hour. The 0 hour, it is not mentioned in the rules of procedure and therefore it is an informal device that is available to the members of the parliament to raise matters without any prior notice. The 0 hour, it starts immediately after the question hour and lasts until the agenda for the day, that is regular business of the house, is taken up. So we can also say that the time gap between the question hour and the agenda is known as 0 hour. Motions. No discussion on a matter of general public importance, it can take place except on a motion which is made with the consent of presiding officer. The house expresses its decisions or opinions in various issues through the adoption or rejection of the motions which is moved either by ministers or private members. The motions that is moved by the members to raise the discussion on various matters, it falls into three principal categories. They are substantive motion, substitute motion and subsidiary motion. Substantive motion, it is a self-contained and it is an independent proposal which deals with the very important matters like impeachment of the president or removal of chief election commissioner. Substitute motion, it is a motion that is moved in substitution of original motion and it proposes an alternative to it. Subsidiary motion, it is a motion by itself that has no meaning and it cannot state the decision of the house without the reference to original motion or proceedings of the house, and it is subdivided into three categories: ancillary motion, superseding motion and amendments. In ancillary motion, it is used as regular way of proceeding with various kinds of business, and superseding motion, it is moved in the course of debate or another issue and it seeks to supersede that issue. Amendment, it seeks to modify or substitute only a part of the original motion. Closure motion, it is a motion that is moved by a member to cut short the debate on matter before the house, and if the motion is approved by the house and the debate is stopped and the matter is put to vote. And there are four kinds of closure motions. They are simple closure, closure by compartments, kangaroo closure and guillotine closure. Simple closure is the one when a member moves that matter which has been sufficiently discussed and at present or now it has been put to vote, and such a motion is called as simple closure motion. Closure by compartments. In this case, the clauses of a bill or a lengthy resolution, they are grouped in parts between the commencement of the debate, and the debate covers the part as a whole and the entire part is put to vote. Kangaroo closure. Under this type of closure, only important clauses, they are taken for debate and voting, and the intervening clauses, they are skipped over and taken as passed. Guillotine closure, and this is the one when the undiscussed clauses of a bill or the resolution, they are put to vote along with the discussed one due to want of time. Privilege motion, it is concerned with the breach of parliamentary privileges by a minister, and it is moved to a member when he feels that a minister has committed a breach of privilege of the house and one or more of its members by withholding the facts of the case or by giving wrong or distorted facts. Its purpose is to censure the concerned minister. Calling attention motion, it has been introduced in the parliament by the member to call the attention of a minister to a matter of urgent public importance. Adjournment motion, it is introduced in the parliament to draw the attention of the House to a definite matter like urgent public importance and the needs to support of 50 members to be admitted. No confidence motion. Article 75 of the Constitution says that the Council of Ministers, they shall be collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha, and it means that the ministry stays in office so long as it enjoys the confidence of the majority of the members of the Lok Sabha, and once the confidence is gone and the Lok Sabha dissolves completely. Censure motion. A censure motion, it is different from a no confidence motion. A censure, it is an expression of strong disapproval or a harsh criticism. Motion of thanks. The first session after each general election and the first session of every fiscal year, it is addressed by the President. And in this address, the President outlines the policies and programs of the government in the preceding year and the ensuing year. And this address of the President, it corresponds to the speech from the throne in Britain, and it is discussed in both House of the Parliament on a motion, and it is called as motion of thanks. And at the end of the session, the motion is put to vote, and this motion, it must be passed in the House, and otherwise it amounts to the defeat of the government. No day it named motion, and it is a motion that has been admitted by the Speaker, but no date has been fixed for its discussion. The Speaker, after considering the state of business in the House and in consultation with the Leader of the House or on recommendation of the Business Advisory Committee, it allots a day or days or part of a day for the discussion for such an motion. Point of order. A member, he can raise a point of order when the proceedings of the House, it do not follow the normal rules of the procedure. And a point of order, it should relate to the interpretation or enforcement of the rules of the House, and it should raise a question that is within the cognizance of the Speaker. And this point of order, it is usually raised by an opposition member in order to control the government, and it is an extraordinary device as it suspends the proceedings before the House, and no debate is allowed on a point of order. Half an hour discussion. Half an hour discussion, it is meant for discussing a matter of sufficient public importance and which has been subjected to a lot of debate and the answer to which needs elucidation on a matter of fact. The Speaker can allot 3 days in a week for an half an hour discussion, and there is no formal motion or voting before the House. Short duration discussion. It is also known as 2-hour discussion. As the time allotted for such a discussion, it should not exceed more than 2 hours. That is why this is called as short duration discussion, or it is also known as 2 hours discussion. And the member of the Parliament, they can raise the discussions on matters that relates to the urgent public importance. Special mention. A matter which is not a point of order or which cannot be raised during question hour or half an hour discussion or short duration discussions or under adjournment motion calling attention notice of the House, it can be raised under the special mention in the Rajya Sabha, and its equivalent procedural device in the Lok Sabha is known as notice under Rule 377. Resolutions. The members, they can move resolutions to draw the attention of the House or the government to the matter that relates to the general public interest, and the discussion on a resolution, it should be strictly relevant to and within the scope of the resolution. A member who has moved a resolution or amendment to a resolution, they cannot withdraw the same except by the leave of the House. Youth Parliament. The scheme of Youth Parliament, it was started on the recommendation of 4th All India Whips Conference, and the objective of Youth Parliament is to acquaint the younger generations with the practices and procedures of the Parliament, and to imbibe the spirit of discipline and tolerance and cultivate the character in the minds of youth, and also to inculcate the student community the basic value of democracy, and to enable them to acquire a proper perspective on the functioning of the democratic institutions. And the Ministry of the Parliamentary Affairs, it provides the necessary training and encouragement to the states in introducing the schemes, and that is called Youth Parliament. In the next session, let's continue our discussion on the bills that is introduced in the Parliament. Thank you.